Dear brethren, it is again another privilege for us to have this message, as in the book of Revelation chapter 1 verse 3 spake and said, Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, for the time is at hand. So everyone who readeth and heareth the words in the book written in the book of Revelation, blessed is that person. That's how the Bible speaks. We are going to see much things about the probation time. Let me begin like this.
Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. See on the portals he's waiting and watching, watching for you and for me. Come home, come home, come home, come home. Ye who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, O sinner, come home. Time is now fleeting, the moments are passing, passing from you and from me. Shadows are gathering, deathbeds are coming, coming for you and for me.
My dear brothers and sisters, let me begin like this. In the recent song which we have heard, there is verse 3, which I've liked so much. It speaks about the time. Our time is freeding up, so we must be very careful with that time which we have heard in the recent song. Let us begin like this. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Many of us know this verse, but to know the meaning is a very wonderful thing. It's a very good thing actually. But we are going to see what is the meaning of this lesson. The probation time ends. We have learned that God loved the world, and so he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. We are going to see how the Bible speaks much about this matter. Let us continue with Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 5. He speaks and say, For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, and the man Jesus Christ. Here Paul told us in Timothy, the first Timothy, that God, there is one God, and many of us know that there is one God. But here, the very good thing he said, and one mediator. But different people have their mediators to God. Many pray to Maria, and they call her their mediator. Many pray to the dead saints and call them their whatever, their pleaders or mediator. But we are going to see. Let us see. This is the mediator performed the work of stopping the sacrifice. So we are going to see how this mediator performed his work of stopping the sacrifices, because Paul has told us that he's the mediator we have, whom connects man with God. So we are going to see how he performed his work. But here we should be very careful while learning. Remember the service of the Old Testament, where they used to bring their sacrifices into the tabernacle, to be cleansed from their sins and iniquities. that symbol was pointing to Jesus. Let me begin with the Old Testament, and we'll be very clear on this issue. Verses 14 of Daniel 8, he says, and he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Here, Daniel, he got the prophecy. The Lord God gave him the prophecy of 2,300 days for the sanctuary to be cleansed. Remember, we are going to see the meaning of that prophecy as we have learned. Let us continue like this. 70 weeks determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the Most High. 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment, they restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the prince shall be 7 weeks. Not here, 7 weeks. He has spoken about 7 weeks. And let's continue. And the 62 weeks, the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. Spoken 7 weeks of 7 weeks whereby the commandment to restore and to rebuild Jerusalem passed, and he spoken also that 62 weeks the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in the troublous times. We are going to calculate exactly what that prophecy was pointing to, and the meaning of that prophecy. Eventually, we are going to calculate it, and we'll be contented. Remember here, this prophecy was pointing to Jesus, and it is the reason why he has said also, he has spoken also about the Messiah, the Prince. Has spoken in that verse of 25. That scripture spoken about the Messiah. As I've told you, we are on the lesson of the probation time ends. That is our heading. The probation time ends. Let us continue like this. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, and not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured unto desolate. Those words are found in the book of Daniel, chapter 9. Here, many of us, some of us, we don't know the meaning of those words. I'm like reading something which is not understandable, but we are going to calculate the meaning of that prophecy. I want to remind you this, that I'm on the lesson which I headed it, which I gave it a heading of the probation time ends. So we're going to see how the Messiah practiced his work, or he practiced his priesthood. The meaning of this prophecy is this. Remember here, he's spoken about 7 weeks. 7 weeks in brief. Let me calculate in brief. So because of the time, I'm calculating in the brief. He brought this prophecy in weeks. So a week contains 7 days. So when we get 7 weeks, 7 weeks time was 7 days, it means we get 49 days. And he spoke about 62 days, 3 score and 2 weeks. 62 times 7, that is 434. And then 1 week, it is 7 times 1. So we get 7. The decree, when the decree passed to rebuild Jerusalem, was for 7 days. And 7 days, remember in prophecy, here he gave us in days. But remember, in prophecy, when you read Ezekiel 4 verses 6, he says 1 day represents higher in prophecy. So when we convert this to years, we get 49 years. 49 years to rebuild Jerusalem, and 62 years to clean up all to rebuild all the streets, and to the Messiah who was anointed, as the Bible speaks. And the decree of rebuilding the Jerusalem started in 457 BC. So from there, when we sum up all those years of constructing and building Jerusalem streets and building the city, we get 483 years to reach 27 AD. When you calculate from 457 to 27 AD, it's when Jesus baptized. You get 483 years. So from there, he said, in the midst of the week, he shall stop the offerings and the oblations. In the midst of the week, remember here, we remained with 1 week. It was 70 weeks. We have done with 7 weeks and 62 weeks. We have remained with 1 week. 1 week, in the midst of the week, those are 3.5 days. He shall stop the offerings. In AD 31, it's when Jesus was crucified. And then in AD 34, it is when Stephen was crucified. So in that period, the probation time for the Jews of 70 weeks, which is equal to 490 years, was ended. So from that time, it was remaining 1,080. It was 18 and 10 years to top up 2,300 years. So there are those 18 and 10 years we are given for Gentiles after stoning Stephen. So the gospel was released to the Gentiles, and that prophecy. Remember the Bible said it was given 2,300 years, and then the sanctuary cleansed. So from 457 BC to 1844, those were 2,300 years. Then the sanctuary was cleansed. There the judgment began. And let me continue explaining story by story with an aid of scriptures. In AD 31, verses 12 of Hebrews 9, he said, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once in the holy place. Here he speaks about Jesus Christ. So after AD 31, Jesus, after his crucifixion, he ascended to heaven, and after ascended to heaven, he entered into the holy place, as Paul has told us in Hebrews 9, verses 12, that he entered in the holy place not by the blood, not with the blood of the goats and calves, but with his own blood. That's how he entered the holy place. Remember, in the holy place, in Old Testament, the priest used to enter there every day with the blood of the goats and the calves. And in 1844, the prophecy, that prophecy of 2,300 years fulfilled. Then the sanctuary begins, as Daniel 8 verses 14 said. In 1844, the prophecy of 2,300 years ended, and then the sanctuary cleansed. Do you remember the Old Testament? In the 7th month, 10th and 17th month, 10th, 17th month, the high priest entered in the most holy place once a year. In that day of that month which I've given you, the priest entered the high priest entered the most holy place, and the sins which were used to confess in the holy place on that day, it's when it was cleansed. It was supposed to be cleansed. Let me continue like this. Jesus in the most holy place. Don't forget this, that 1844. From 1844, the judgment began for both living and dead. You should not forget that, because when the sanctuary in the Old Testament, when the sanctuary was to after while that process of cleansing the sanctuary, when the high priest was pleading for the sins of the children of Israel, even them, they were supposed to cry for their sins. If abruptly comes that you may be on your own things while the high priest is pleading, there you just go death abruptly without any excuse. So even Christ, as he entered in the most holy place after 1844, the sanctuary cleansed, rather the holy place cleansed. So after 1844, Jesus entered the most place. Here, the judgment began for both living and dead. Whoever goes die with his iniquities, he is already doomed. No other option. Let me read also like this. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens. Hebrews 8 verse 1. He has spoken about our high priest. Remember, the high priest is the one who was working in the most holy place. So Jesus is now our high priest. He left the holy place in 1844. It's when the sanctuary cleansed. So he left it. Now he entered the most holy place, and there he became our high priest. So here people should be very careful while doing their own ways. Whatever wrong you do, and you not plead for it, or you don't confess it, and the time comes and you go die, why not confess that whatever that sin, your doom is already fixed. Just wait for the judgments of God to come. Let me continue like this. Hebrews 9 verses 11, he speaks Paul and said, but Christ being come an high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect and a greater and more perfect for tabernacle, not made by hands. You see here, Paul has spoken about this high priest, and he said, Jesus being come an high priest. At first he was not an high priest, because he first entered the holy place. He was just a priest, as in the Old Testament was. He was just a priest. But after 1844, as we have learned, from AD 31 to 1844, he was high priest. He was the priest. So from 1844, when the sanctuary was cleansed, the holy place, he entered the most holy place. There he became an high priest. So here we should be very careful while doing our own things. I've told you earlier. In the most holy place, the judgments of God are calculated. The judgments of God is shooting them seriously. So we should be very careful while doing our own ways. When time comes, where we are already prepared. in time we don't know when Christ will leave this place, the most holy place. But if time comes and he leaves this place, the most holy place, while your sins are not yet confessed, your doom is already fixed. If not, it may be not, or it might not be that. Even if you go die, let me bring this this whatever this example. If you die while your sins are not yet confessed, your doom is already fixed. Let me continue like this. We have gone to Revelation, and there was given me a reed like unto a Lord, and the angel stood, saying, Arise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. Verses 2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread and underfoot 42 months. Remember here, I've told you that the gospel was given to Gentiles from AD 34 to 1844. Their gospel was raised to Gentiles. Let me continue like this. Verses 19 of Revelation 18, and the temple of God was opened in the heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testimony, and there were lightnings, and the voices, and the thunderings, and an earthquake, and a great hail. Here we have learned about which we have learned. We have so far got to know that Jesus is the most holy place. The most holy place is in the Old Testament, is where the Ark of the Covenant was. Even in the New Testament, here John has spoken it in Revelation. Let me continue. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no man was able to enter the temple. Revelation 15 verses 8. The smoke was here. John, who wrote Revelation, he saw the smoke and was filled in the temple of God. The temple, which he has told us in Revelation 11 verses 19, that he saw the ark of the testimony, which was in the most holy place of the Old Testament, of the sanctuary which was built by Musa for the children of Israel in the Old Testament, which was symbolizing this temple, or this heavenly temple, heavenly sanctuary. The things of Old Testament, the sanctuary of the earthly sanctuary was just a symbol, was typifying this heavenly sanctuary. So the smoke was given out in that. The smoke was filled in that in that heavenly sanctuary. Let me continue like this. But Jesus spake and said these verses, and he said, But of that day and hour knoweth no man, and not by the angels of the heaven, but my Father only. Matthew chapter 24 verses 36. Jesus was speaking about the day of his coming back. We have seen that John, he saw the smoke filled in the temple of God, whereby we have learned that the ark of the testimony, ark of the testament was, and this smoke should be should be the thing which will bring Jesus Christ out of the temple of God, or in the most holy place, to come to this world and revenge. Let me continue with Acts 3 verses 19. He speaks and said, Repent ye therefore, and be converted, and your sins may be blotted out, and when the time of refreshing shall come from the presence of God, of the Lord. Acts 3 verses 19. You know, Jesus has spoken, has told us that He know not times, no hour. Even the angels of the God, they don't know. Actually, they don't know. According to that scripture which we have learned, they don't know even but he has said, it is only my Father who knows the time of his second coming. Remember here very well. So if it is like that, even there is no one who knows that, who knows the time when will Jesus go away from, or when will Jesus come out of the of the most holy place. But he said, Paul said, dear brothers, you are not in there, you are not in darkness, for that day to come as a thief comes the night. We are not in the darkness because of the signs and times which our Lord Jesus gave us. We are not in darkness, so we are contented and we know what is going on. Jesus is pleading over you people to do like this. And in Isaiah 1 verses 16 he said, wash you and make you clean, but put away the evil of your doings from before thine eyes, before mine eyes, cease to do evil. In 18, and he continues in 18 saying, come now, and let us reason together. Saith the Lord, though your sins shall be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Jesus is giving you this knowledge. Wash you, make you clean. He's pleading. He's begging you. God is begging the people to enter the heaven as if He's the one benefiting. I don't know. Indeed, I don't know the grace of the Lord. He's pleading the people to wash their whatevers, their robes, to walk in clean ways, so that they enter heaven. Let me concluding in this way, not after the probation time, free completed for all kinds of people. The 7 plagues of Revelation 16 shall begin. Then the 7th trumpet shall be sounded. I remember here, Jesus, we don't know the exact time when he shall leave the probation. The master seat is now on the master seat, which is in the most holy place, operating for us. He's apologizing his Father to forgive our sins. He's pleading for you and for me. So let us value his whatever, his sacrifice, his time, and all that. Dear brothers, in conclusion, I'm just telling you this. Wait to watch out and run the instances happened after the 7th trumpet. I'll give you, please just subscribe. You may insert in Santo David, sure word of prophecy. You shall see all of the information we bring, and also I will give you other ways how you can get our message from the ministry, specifically from the ministry. I'll give you the way how you can get it. But when you subscribe, a word of prophecy ministry, you can get all our messages we bring. But the 7th trumpet, I'm in preparation of bringing out this lesson. We shall see. We shall see what the instances happened in the 7th trumpet. Much about it is nothing, but I just think you're wonderful for the gift of time you have expressed, and you hear this message and you follow. In special, I just thank those who are following the message, and also my fellow brothers who do the same work like this. God bless you much. Those are our contact ministries. You can contact and ask each and every question you have. We are free to answer it. God bless you.